All right, we are still on slide number 12. Really, it's not slide 12. We're talking in general about fertilization and having a baby and all that fun stuff, right? Okay, so with my previous discussions, I have been talking about if you didn't get pregnant. So let's change the scenario a little bit. So if we change the scenario to yes, you got pregnant, we had said, what happens? The egg and the sperm find each other in the oviduct. Then the egg makes its way down through the oviduct into the uterus, and it will implant in the stratum functionalis. So if we then say, okay, so we had said the ovary, what's going on in the ovary? We had said in the ovary, after ovulation, the follicle became the corpus luteum, right? And we said it starts to produce progesterone to keep you from losing the stratum functionalis, the endometrial lining. Now, and we said it'll do that for 2 weeks. Well, in the meantime, we had said, yes, you did get pregnant, and the egg did make its way into the stratum functionalis and has implanted. At that point, what happens is the endometrium and this new connection to the mother, which we'll call the placenta, it sends a signal. It sends a signal to the corpus luteum, and it says, don't stop producing the progesterone. Keep producing progesterone, because we did get pregnant and we've got a baby in here we've got to take care of, right? So it continues to produce progesterone. Now, what is that signal? That signal is something called chorionic gonadotropin. Chorionic gonadotropin. And there's a funny story I have to tell. So there was a really quirky baseball player. It's always these baseball players. A guy named Manny Ramirez. And Manny Ramirez was a really bizarro dude. And so everyone always said, that's just Manny being Manny, because he was a really bizarre guy. I remember one time he was between baseball teams, and they asked him, Manny, what have you been doing? And he said, Oh, I've just been hanging out, working out. I can't remember what he said now. But anyway, as part of his comment where he was saying he had been hanging out, working out and watching cartoons. That was on the ESPN show that I saw. And I just remember thinking it was bizarre. Well, bizarre Manny Ramirez was caught abusing steroids, but it wasn't testosterone. You know what he was taking? He was getting shots of chorionic gonadotropin, this hormone here. Now, and at the time, I was like, what? Even for Manny Ramirez, that's totally bizarre. Well, it ends up that when people have been abusing testosterone and they're trying to wean off of it, they'll sometimes take a related injections of something related, and that was what he was doing. But anyway, so the signal that is sent by the placenta to the corpus luteum, the yellow body, saying keep producing progesterone, is chorionic gonadotropin. Now, the corpus luteum will last for 3 months. Babies are in there for 9 months. So what happens here? Well, what happens is that connection. Remember I said we have a connection between the baby and mama called the placenta? Well, it ends up the placenta takes over the job of producing the hormone of pregnancy, which is progesterone. And so for the second and third trimester of pregnancy, it's the placenta that is going to be producing progesterone. Now, there's a sad, a very heart-wrenching event that happens sometimes with women, right? It's called a miscarriage. Women will be pregnant and they'll, about 3 months in, they'll all of a sudden lose their baby. You know why? It's because of this. It's because of this transition. And so what women will have to do in some cases, they'll have to take suppositories, from your backside, from your butt, basically. You put a suppository in of progesterone and to elevate. And the reason I know of this is because both of my sisters had the same problem. So anyway, so that is, again, how all of these hormones are completely intertwined together. All right, so let's move right along. So we've been sort of stuck here on the early teen slides for a while. Let's go to slide number 13. So slide number 13 is looking at a breast. A mammary gland would be what we call it. And this is where milk is produced, stored, and ejected. Now, normally, if you're not, we had said what is the responsible for producing milk? It's that prolactin. So and prolactin is released when you're pregnant or nursing. And so without the prolactin, breasts are mainly connective tissue and fat, but they have lobes and lobules that are connected to lactiferous channels, and this is where the milk is synthesized and is there waiting for what? So under the influence of prolactin, you produce milk. And then what did we say? What is the hormone that causes milk ejection? Yes, oxytocin. Very good. So oxytocin is what causes the breast to eject the milk. Now, the nipple with the area around it, that's called the areola, and it contains glands that are supposed to help prevent chapping. I've been told that doesn't work by women who know. I'm just going by the book. But anyway, that's what that's all about. Okay, so let's see. So that'll takes us to slide number 14. And so here we've got all of this stuff, all of this interrelated stuff laid one on top of the other. So we have a graph at the top that is showing the female hormones and also the luteinizing hormone, and underneath it you see a follicle, and it's representing the changes in the hormones that I described in the ovarian cycle. And then below it, the graph below it is again showing the female hormones, but with regards to the endometrium. And so they're all overlapped on top of each other. And this is a slide that is representing those kinds of changes. And it looks like slide number 15 is kind of the same thing. I don't know why I have two of the same thing there. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. I think, okay, so yes. Okay, no, I'm going to stop right here and we'll pick up on slide 16 next time.